what I'm going to be doing when I'm going to be uploading the other one onto my YouTube and keep it there hidden. I'm probably going to make some highlights of it, just because I think it's hilarious, right? I think it's hilarious. I think the how do I put this? It was the time. It was just such a wild little thing. It was just like one of those
Yes.
like, ha.
He
But
was sweating more than from being hot.
yes, you're like, what's going on here? It's like, and no, me, it was like, I was annoyed because I just couldn't get back in the system. And by the
Mhm.
time it was even to the point where I could possibly do it, you were gone. It's like, oh, I'm
I
no,
was like,
but
yeah, it's time to go sit out and hang with my husband.
well, no, I didn't blame you. I mean, I had to. Let's see. I crashed the system, rebooted. It wouldn't reboot. We crashed it
Mhm.
again. Rebooted it. It slowly was coming back on. And I dared not touch it again because I was afraid of what might happen. But on the plus side, I mean, I spent most 2 of the last 3 days kind of working on the computer and fixing it and making it much more efficient and all that other wonderful fun stuff. I never
I
wanted.
I had I had a scare this spring about with that. My computer froze, and I freaked. It went to the blue screen of death, and I'm like,
So this computer has not blue screened to death yet.
and I bet, yeah, cross your fingers. I backed up everything. I went into incognito mode or whatever it was, and backed up to that way on my OneDrive. And then when I rebooted, it was fine. It was like, like, were you just
Nice.
being temperamental just to fuck with me?
Yes, yes, yes,
Pretty
absolutely.
much. I I did clean out, years worth of photos that are already up on Shutterfly and up on my OneDrive, but I was like, I don't need these. They're stored in multiple different places now.
Well, it was interesting because when I was cleaning out my system, like basically for me, it was mostly getting rid of programs that I wasn't using anymore,
Hmm.
right? Or programs I've
Right.
never used. Like I downloaded a Twitch Studio I've never used. Now that may change at some point down the
Yeah.
road. If I get that exclusivity with Twitch, I'm going to probably have to go get rid of or the restream thing, put
Right.
my own logos and stuff like that. If I ever get to that affiliate marker, um,
Yep.
but as a general rule of thumb, as a general rule of thumb, it's how do I put this? It was just like game rid programs I didn't need that were clogging up the loading time. I
Hmm.
downloaded an antivirus program that also optimizes the system, and that did
Hmm.
a lot of that undid a lot of the damage. My Steam does not load up the way it used to. But now, before the antivirus and after, so I think
Hmm.
I'm almost one. So I'm really torn with Steam because I like Steam. I have games on
Yeah.
Steam,
Hmm.
right? But at the same time, it might be wreaking havoc on my computer. So what I may have to do eventually is, well, I already know that like next year I have to buy a new computer. Like it's just
Hmm.
that's just reality.
Yep.
But I might make this my gaming computer. Just this is one I play games on. That's it. It's the late.
When I get a new one, I think my husband's going to take this.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's looking, retirement in the eye, and he's like, well, I don't want to do nothing. I'm like, well, learn the Java and the web building and build me a website. He's like, well, I need a computer, I need this, that. I'm like,
Here you go. Here's mine.
but he doesn't have time until that time. So
Yeah, it's weird. Like I mean that's the other thing too. Like because I've been doing freelance now, I kind of know a little bit of, like what retirement like. Like you need a purpose. Like well, that's the thing. Like
mhm,
purpose is what's going to get you. That's what kills you. It's that lack of purpose. Um,
exactly.
and literally that's what it does. So if he's got something he's doing or something
Hmm.
like I hope he's got like a line like not the crappy I'm gonna go on that world tour, not that crappy and not
No,
I mean an
no.
actual purpose.
Oh, he does. I mean, he wants to do a lot of things, a lot of things. He'd love to work at a ski resort. He'd love to work at a golf place. Those are the things that he loves to do anyway. And it's like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
just mm, he's
Wait,
not going to work.
no, I get you.
Mm.
No, I get like actually like
Ever.
oh no, I mean I think the idea like the old way of retirement is such an overrated concept because it's not that I don't, like, and this is something I realized, it's not that I don't want to work. That's actually not the issue. It's who I want to work for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real conundrum, right?
Right.
It's because you get to that certain point, like in my case, I'm trying the freelancing thing out. Like I may actually have to go get it. I'm gonna find out this at the end of. It's supposed to be last week, but it's gonna be this week coming up. I'm gonna find out like what I have some possible things lined up next month and the month after.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger things gets resolved one way or the other next week. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
kind of determine certain directions I go in
Right.
going forward. And one of the things I might do is I might I know like for me, if I do have to go back to work for somebody, I might just do something like be a bartender because
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Right.
certainly I'm not the retirement type, and right,
No.
and I'm just not.
Well, all right. I already have my goals, and I'll be able to do more research on advertising and making making things more cost effective. Well, I told him he could do that. He's really good at research. So,
Yeah.
but he's like,
Well, see, that's it. Now he's going to be working for you. That's the thing. Like that's the real thing. It's like you're like yes,
yeah,
and,
I'm like
and
yes, and he's like, no. I
he's
love
gonna
you, but no.
you just can't take all of his time.
Right.
I get the feeling like with him, he loves helping you. I
Hmm.
think also when you both, because I think you're both looking at, even you two, you're looking at retirement kind of in the face as well,
Hmm.
right?
Not that
Um,
far off, right?
yeah, so as far
And
as
I
you go,
might, I might do part time to see if part time works at the company because they give me insurance.
there is that. Although I do get the feeling, mm, this is the thing. I think for you, I think you would last 2 years
I can cut
part.
off. I can cut off. He can't.
Yeah,
I can say, okay, this is how many hours I'll work. This is what I can get done, and I've always done this.
yeah. No,
I've always
it's
been really good at estimating what needs to get done in the time I have, and doing it. Never
yeah.
over allocating myself most of the time.
We all make that mistake a little bit, like we all do.
Hmm.
We all do. Like
Hmm.
but yeah, it's general rule of thumb. It's also what you're willing to do. Like I'm learning
Right.
this now. I'm trying to get into this habit now. Like I'm still
Hmm.
learning little things. I mentioned this last time, right? Is that I'm never doing a 2 hour meeting unless money has changed hands. Like
Hmm.
ever again, never, ever,
Hmm.
ever, ever, ever.
Right.
Like, and I'm learning those little things, but I also just realized too where I'm at and compared to maybe to some of the people I know is I'm thinking of my time like a business a lot more. I think younger than a lot of my peers ever did.
Hmm.
Right? I'm not gonna say you. I somehow feel like you've always kind of had that kind of wired in. I've had to learn it, right?
Hmm.
But once you learn it, you're like, you don't really want to go back. That's why I
No,
said,
no, it's like I'm more the one that could probably elongate and do the shorter thing
yeah,
without screwing retirement. I'll put it that way.
but I also feel like okay, as far as your day job goes, I think there's a
Mhm.
patience point with it too. Even if you work less and less hours, like you like it, like I know people who retire that go back to the companies they love. Hey, Anita,
Right.
I'm I'm hoping this time we actually make it through the whole thing. Fingers crossed. It's already gone a lot better
Well,
than last time.
I can always kill more people in my books.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
That's true. That's very, very true.
But I'm
Because
also
without that hostility and anger and all of that, I tend to become a little bit more sappy. Nobody wants a sappy king.
well, so well, actually, you know what? I think as a one-time thing, Sappy Jane could work.
Yeah.
Pat Rothfuss did a like a little novella that was
Mhm.
it's pure sap. It is
Okay.
it's absolute. You can get away with it once if you write well enough.
Mm.
But but considering the nature of your stuff with the conflicts and stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna have one external reasons to be pissed off at the world. Fortunately, there's lots of
Yes,
those. There's lots of
exactly. There's a lot
those.
of outside influence right now.
Uh, I yesterday I ended up talking to Jin for like 2 hours about various world politics.
Mhm.
I was like, at the end of that, it was like, wow, I like that. Like seriously, that might be my most controversial interview ever. Ever.
I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to go there this time.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, 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 no.
No, it was one of those situations where I did the interview. I was like afterwards, like, there's lots of reasons to be pissed off. There's tons of reasons to
Mhm.
be pissed off, and I think, like I said, when you get older, what you realize is there's only so much vitriol you have time for. And when
Mhm.
you don't have a company, like I haven't worked for a company. I didn't hate my last company, although towards the end I was like, I hit that. I'm done. Like I'm just done.
Mhm.
Like I'm not
Mhm.
here. I don't. If you fired me right now, I wouldn't care. That's
Right.
not a healthy place to be.
No,
That's
it's
where,
not.
but it's where
It's
I'm
not.
at. And
Okay.
but again, I had already planned an exit strategy, so it's kind of like I knew where I was. It's like, okay, it's
Mhm.
time for me to exit and do something else. Then we had this magical thing called a pandemic, and that kind of wrecked my plan, right?
Mhm.
But even so, um, like I look at it kind of like no, finding reasons to be mad, they exist. I think the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing is it's that motivational thing, right? That motivation
Yeah.
to keep going and
Yeah.
driving, and that might be the challenge for you. Like, dang it, I don't know. You seem pretty driven with everything you do. I don't see that
Mm.
stopping,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's part of the trade-off, I guess. I am
Yeah,
driven.
no, you're driven, and that's why you didn't mind doing the company and the writing and all. Like,
Mhm.
but you're at that point too. Like, since we are talking retirement,
Mhm.
right? You Right. It's about being driven to the things you really love to do and
Mhm.
nothing else, right? That freedom to make that
Right.
real,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right. And I think so. I think if you on a part-time basis, like financial Jamie, like the insurance is great, right?
Mhm.
But how long before your patients, you know what? I just want to do other things. Two
Maybe
years?
that long.
Yeah,
Maybe that long.
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. Right.
Please, maybe.
Yeah, it
Well,
depends on how light your schedule is, right? It depends on how light. Like, what's the minimum I can do here and still keep my insurance? And that's like,
mhm.
right? It's like 15 hours a week. That might be able to last longer.
Mhm.
I think the magic number for you is 25, right?
Three
If you get,
days.
yeah, yeah,
3 days. Seriously,
yeah,
three
yeah,
days.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. That's the magic
That's what I'm
number.
thinking. But
Yeah,
who knows? Who
yeah,
knows? You know,
yeah.
they could turn
I,
around and have staff cuts and give everybody packages. That's no.
who knows? But I mean, heck, like it might also open up doors for you, like that, like you could do more books than you already do too.
Hmm.
Is
Which
that
is a catch 22 because,
yes?
then there's other costs. Then.
Well, I mean, it's weird because like I figured this out, like just from looking at the models of like the indie publishing
Hmm.
model. The important thing to really get yourself going financially is 3 or 4 books a year. That's it. Like you maintain that, you can
Hmm.
make a really steady income doing this. All right, right, livable, even like lucrative, depending on what your
Hmm.
goals are. And so now the idea of doing, say, in your case, now you have those hours gone. It's like now I can go from like 3 to 6, or right. I don't know if that's
I
something
already
that,
do four. I already
yeah.
do four
So
novels a
you go,
year.
so you can
Yeah,
go with like
I already
four.
did. Yeah.
So four to eight, right, or maybe 4 to 7, something like that. Like there's a lucrative aspect to that on one hand. On
But
the
there's burnout on the other.
yes,
You know,
yes,
I I want to travel. I love to go to cons. That's the one thing that would probably be more apt to go, even part time, because most cons are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You
Mhm.
know,
Yep.
I work Fridays. Sometimes Thursdays. So it's like okay.
You could get around that now though if you wanted to a little bit.
I
It
know.
depends.
If
It,
I
it depends.
wanted to take vacation time
Well,
and not.
that's one way to do it. There's another way too, and this is what. So I remember one year I was at Phoenix Con,
Hmm.
and guys beside me to the left, they were working for the Phoenix Suns. So
Hmm.
what they did was they split that table with somebody else.
Hmm.
Now, here the flip side of that is that guy at the other table did not probably talk to anybody about his comic at all. It was I was beside him and I was in pain. The Sun guys showed up the next day after they were done work and watched him for about 20 minutes, and they were in pain too. They're like, they actually asked me, "Has he been like this all day?" I said, "Pretty much, yeah." It's like,
Oh, but I'll talk to anybody though.
and that's what you should do at a con. That's what you should do. That's my point. Like
Yes.
that's what you should do at a con, right? So what I'm saying is, you find somebody in your area. I don't know. I don't see. Here's the thing. Your partners in crime are all out west. That's I
Hmm.
think generally the problem. But I
Hmm.
think but your way around that would be like if you had anyone in the area, even just in the local from the local vicinity, be like, you know what? Why don't
I'm
we
sorry.
split?
I think the bear's out there. I'm hearing the bear mating call.
That's okay.
Sorry, I just had to. I was like, what? That's not an owl.
That's a bear. Hello, Mr.
Yes, that's
Bear.
a bear.
It's okay.
Sorry,
Like
I
a few
digressed.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Like I said, I know the feeling. I was out in Canmore. I saw lots of moose. I didn't see bear, but I heard it once or twice. I think most of the time they're just chill. Like the most of the time
Yeah,
they're just
no,
like,
that was fairly close enough for me to hear it like in turn.
yeah. But
But
again,
no, I
most
am not interested. Okay.
we've
Yes.
lasted longer than last time.
I a
Yeah,
minute. No, I think it was 18 minutes in
yeah.
when you died, and it's 17 minutes
Well,
in.
well, here's the thing. Like so far, I've had no computer interruptions. Like I was having
You're
warnings.
saying now you're jinxing us, honey.
No, I'm not.
You're jinxing us. Knock
Maybe.
on wood.
See, actually, my theory was actually that something was going to happen to you today. That's actually what I was like. This
The
because I'm
bear coming
maybe,
under.
ladies and
No,
gentlemen, we interrupt this program to say that Jane has actually been by the bear on the outside, and she will be
the
back.
bear decided to come onto the deck.
Yes. Well, as
Yeah,
long
that would.
that would be an interesting little problem because what are you going to do with the bear? It's like he's not going to go anywhere. You can call somebody,
I
but
will
even
start throwing books at it. They can be weapons.
so you do realize like
And
a bear.
if I got my gun, I'd shoot up my house. I'd miss the bear completely.
I can just see it now. So that would be like a first ever on this podcast, by the way. That would be like a first. Like gunshot wildly misses, bear screams. Like, I think Jane has to go. Right? It's like,
Hmm.
talk to me later when you know when you're alive, that kind of thing. No,
Yes, no,
totally,
no.
I totally get it. No, no, like I said, but going back to like full, like that time on your hands thing, I've been trying
Mhm,
to, like, what I'm trying to do right now. Like I said, I may have to get a day job next week. I might have to, like, it just
mhm.
at least for a short, again,
Yeah.
short burst. I'm not. I already know this. I don't have it in me to go long. I just don't. It's like
Mhm.
same thing. 3 days. I can do 3 days,
Yep, exactly.
and after that, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I got curmudgeonly and older faster. Or you just got paid more. probably a little bit of column A and column B on that one.
Mhm.
It's okay.
I have never made in my writing what I make in my day
Yes.
job. I would like to.
Yeah.
My publishing partner made close to what he made in his day job, but then that was back in 2012 when Kindles were new and everybody was buying everything. But
No.
I'd
No.
like to even make a fraction of it.
Uh, you might. Like that's the other thing too. You'll have more time to really do it. Like
Right,
you're right.
really to investigate, how to make all my ads much more efficient and look
Yeah.
at the numbers and figure things out that way and having the time to do the right copy and the right pictures and stuff like that. That is most definitely the toughest part of it. you know
No, it is. It's no, it
you
legitimately
know
is. And like, and I can say this honestly. You by yourself, you do it better than most already. Like you actually and I say it like that just because, um, like again, I read your stuff and it's like you're good. And I can say this without without even bias. Like you know what you are, and that's a
hmm
huge. That is a huge boom. Um, some people, and I read a back copy, I'm like, I don't think they know who they are. Or
hmm
some people, when I read, no, you know exactly who you are, right?
hmm
All right. It's just like I think it's a combination of time, effort, and energy, a little time, effort, and like I said, you will love cons, like when you do conventions and stuff
oh,
like that.
I
Yeah,
loved being a participant at Comic-Con in Rhode Island when I went with my son. I loved it,
yeah.
although I hate crowds because I am short and crowds make me feel claustrophobic. So, being on the outskirts is fine. If I was in the booths and stuff, I would be fine. But in the middle of the, throughways where it's just jam packed and people are waiting for pictures and this and that, I did not do well. And that's why Billy and I don't have a picture with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because we were in line and both of us had like like we got to get out of here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So we saw him in the front row at the Q&A, but he was late because he was doing pictures. But it was just a madhouse. That's the only thing I dislike. But
It,
if I'm in a booth, it's very different because I've got a little air space,
you
breathing
got some
space.
space. Panels are good too. You can do a panel
Yes.
at a convention. They're actually fantastic.
Oh, I have.
Right. Yeah. They're fantastic.
hmm hmm
I
I've
want to do
done a
my.
panel at
Uh,
Backspace Conference in New York.
yeah, I want to do my Dr. Seuss thing basically around the loop because
hmm
I think that would draw easy money. Like for me, it would
hmm
just be an easy thing. Like so, the other thing too is I do min maxing. And it's like, how can I get the maximum amount of result with the minimum amount of effort and
Yes,
make it right?
that
Right.
that's me.
Yeah. Oh, I apply that to everything. It works,
Yep, yep.
right? But it's one of those things where you gotta look at it, it's like, if I can create a fun environment for people to come in, they're gonna remember that fun experience, and that
hmm
will be what drives me to, again, people will know who I am. I don't
hmm
mind being called, hey, you're the Dr. Seuss guy. There are worse things in the
hmm
world to be called than that guy.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's like, like people sometimes struggle with, like, I want to be recognized for a certain thing. And it's like, nah, I don't care about that. I just care that people know who I am. I don't care why they know who I am, right?
hmm
For the most
Yep.
part. For the most part,
Babbling grandma.
it's okay. Grandma's okay. Jane
Family
Taylor.
grandma. The
Yes.
silver-haired grandma. It's actually gotten a lot whiter.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's all good though, right? I mean,
Yes, it is.
all that
I'm like,
matters is if
damn,
you.
that doesn't look too bad.
I love the fact that, actually, I don't know how old you are, but it doesn't really matter because again, I don't want to get punched, but also just in all seriousness, you're old.
Seriously, how old do you think I
See, I had you at mid to late 50s.
am? 57.
Yeah,
I
mid to late
turned
50s.
57 this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I had you pegged around there, but I do like that you still have a certain sense of I look great. Like that identity is still there, which is like that's
Mhm.
awesome. That's right. That's awesome. It's like it's things to look forward to when I get older, right? Right.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm 40, uh, so I got probably 10 more years of no. I'm gonna be crazy the rest of my life. 10 more years of middle age and crazy. We'll just go with that,
Okay.
right? Yeah, 10 more years of middle age and crazy, and then at some point I'll be hopefully a little bit more at peace with myself. Or give far less of a crap. I'm not sure, right?
I don't know. I have been, I don't know. As I said, when I was in my 20s doing stuff like this, I would have frozen. You would have been on there, and I would have been like deer in the headlights. You know, I think age seasons us in a. For me, it seasoned me in a better way, where
Oh yeah.
I'm not as self conscious anymore, and I'm certainly not worried about what's going to fall out of my mouth.
Already there on the second one. Already
Yep.
there.
Yep.
It's already there. I'm already there. Like I'm at that point in my life where my opinion, like I am open enough to be I am brave enough to be vulnerable. I'm brave enough to still care. But I'm also brave enough to say if you don't like it, that's fine too. You know,
Hmm.
and that's great. It's wonderfully liberating. You don't have to worry about it. You a lot of things get dropped
Hmm.
and you realize like based on where you stand kind of that
Hmm.
it also changes the people you want in your life. That's the other thing too.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. It
Yeah.
does. You know, yes, you do want like-minded people, but you also want people that will challenge you in a positive way.
Hmm.
You know, their ideas are different and may not jive with yours, but they don't put you down for yours and vice versa. I think that's important.
You need something beyond an echo chamber for sure. Like
Yes,
that is the
absolutely.
that's the thing. And like, but also I think what it comes down to, it's like this is what I like at this point in my life. And maybe this will never change. Maybe this will be where I stick in some ways.
Hmm.
All I really care about is doing what I love with people I love. And
Hmm.
but I'm in this weird space where because I've never really settled. I've kind of just been wandering on my own little merry way.
Yeah.
Finding those people is the real challenge for someone like me. It's like where does a guy like me fit? Right? If
Hmm.
I fit anywhere at all, right?
Why fit?
Well,
Why fit in?
but what I mean by that is you feel like you're with the right people,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
I am perfectly content being who I am. That
Hmm.
like I'm not going to change that for anybody at this point in my life. It's like this is me. You like
Deal
it
with it.
or you don't, and I don't care
Yep.
which, right? Right. I hope you like it, but I don't. I want to. I still care enough that I enjoy being liked, but I don't care enough that if I'm not, it's just one of those things,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Hmm.
but it's one of those. But again, you want to now find just the people that you really want to be with, and that matters because you realize
Hmm.
again it's one of those realizations I've had too is that I look at my dad's in his 60s. He might be around for a few more years. Probably he's going to be around a few
Hmm.
more years, but he's going to be 70 before I know it, and then 80, and then one
Hmm.
day he's going to be here no more.
Hmm.
My sister's younger, but I mean, same thing. Like she's going to have her own life. My family's going to get to have their own lives. And I think at the end of it, I mean, this might sound selfish. But I think it's very human. I want to be around people that really matter to me, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Like there's not like again, it's not complicated really at the end of the day. And as far as what I do in this life, again, I've learned this a long time ago. Not much in this life matters, really.
Hmm.
My
Yeah. You shouldn't live your life in fear either.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you have to overcome your fears and, just barrel through them, and then you can really truly live.
Barrel. My again, I learned lots from the pandemic. But I think the biggest thing I learned was that fear is a door. right? If you
Mhm.
what you really like fear is as a concept is we are all afraid of things. But
Mhm.
what I've noticed is our fears are often tied with things we really want too. So
Mhm.
it's usually it either can be a cage that keeps you exactly where you are
Mhm.
forever, or it can be a door to what you actually have always wanted to be, who you always wanted to
Mhm.
be, and who you want and what you really want in this life. And again, when you get to my age, you start to realize like the stuff that really scares you. Now, again, you try to change some of it. I don't know if you change all of it. I think at the end of the day, you don't win
Mm.
every battle there, but I do.
No,
But
I'm still afraid of spiders, but I'm not afraid of the camera anymore.
yeah, no, because again, what you want is people to recognize you for you and your
Mhm.
work and stuff. And to do that, that means you have to put yourself out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, right. You still get like a jitter, like get nerves when you go in front of the camera at this point, even if it's just
Not
like a
not this kind.
yeah.
I would imagine if I was on like the network news. Well, even when I was on the public television here. Nope,
No.
nope. I just have to remember where I am to censor what comes out of my mouth. I have to remember the days of network television and the dirty word list and what time it is of day.
I love that's all you care about with television. It's like, okay, what can't I say? What time is it?
What time is it?
And what can I say at this time?
What's
That's
your
it. That's all.
temperament here? Can I drop the
Oh, I
F
don't worry
bomb?
about.
You know, okay.
I,
You're on the FCC.
I don't worry about temperament so much because I have this realization too. If I do increase their viewership, even if I do piss them off, they're gonna
Mhm.
want me to come back because I make them money,
Right,
right?
right.
They're right. I like the one thing about television that I can honestly say is television is a whore. So I mean, so just treat it like it doesn't really matter about what sensibilities you nail. Again, I'm old enough; I don't care anymore about that crap. But
There's a
but
lot of people that would,
it's
and
what you
and
want.
when I consider it a win when I get my mother-in-law to say the F bomb, you know,
That's
she was so
fantastic.
mad at her printer, and I could see her go like this. I said, "Just say it," and she looked at me. I said, "Just it'll feel better."
You
And she said,
do.
"Fucking printer," and then she turned bright red, and I was like, "Yes." And
Victory. It's
my husband looks and says, "You've been around her too long." To
see
his
that's
mother.
that's the best part, right? Like you're talking about
Yes.
what you're talking about is so you rub off on each other in like really good ways. Like
Yes.
for her, you know, I've watched this with like my grandmother, like when they like dated and to her recently unfortunately departed boyfriend for 5 years.
Mhm.
It was great to watch her come out of her shell. It was fantastic, because it
Mhm.
was like I got to see things about her and that I like. It's just like this is awesome, right? Um, and it was great. Like I got to see that, and it was like ha ha ha. This is amazing.
Mhm.
And I say it like that because it's just like yeah, because even when you get older, I mean, even with like there are things we have. It's like you know what, it doesn't really matter anymore. I'm just gonna be
Mhm.
myself. And I think the thing that amazes me now, and maybe it's a realization thing. Like, why was I so reserved to begin with? What was I so worried about? Right?
I
You
think it's
know,
an age thing again. The
maybe maybe
who am I gonna offend today?
it's well. I think for me, I think one of the things that, especially when I started in this podcast, one of the things I had to learn was it's not it's about me, but it's not. It's about the guest
Mhm.
as much as it's about me. And I have to learn and one of the things I've had to learn is like my own perspectives are my own perspectives. And I
Mhm.
don't, like you said, I don't got a problem saying any of them. But the thing about it is, right, it's not always about those perspectives about me being right or about me being. It's about letting other people have the freedom to breathe and be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you get into that for a long enough period of time, you start to worry about those. You start to get conscious of some of that stuff again, and
Mm-hmm.
then again, and then the pandemic kind of pretty much killed all of that for me. It's like because again, it kind of forced me to decide who did I want to be going forward. Like what
Mm-hmm.
makes this worthwhile for me, and at the end of the day, for me, I got to be free to be me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I want others to have that same freedom, like whatever
Yeah.
anybody thinks of them. And I'd rather have that open, honest dialogue than anything else. So, and that's the thing, like learning how to. I had to kind of learn how to be open enough to let other people come in. But
Mm-hmm.
now I've almost had, and then then in doing that, I had to relearn. Okay, what are my boundaries in this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are my boundaries in this? I think I need to go through that development. But now that I've how do I put this? Now that I've kind of been through another trial by fire, it's like, okay, this is who I am right now. And in
Mm-hmm.
5 years, who knows? I might be
Yeah,
afraid.
you evolve. You
Yeah.
evolve, you change, you adapt. All of those
Yes.
things, you know, throughout life, that's what you do. I mean, when I was first at my first job, I got a bad review for something,
Yep.
and I was devastated. But I mean, but my father talked me through it,
Yep.
and and said, okay, what are you, why don't you agree with this? And I told him, I said, and he goes, well, write an email point for point why you don't agree with it, and what are they seeing in you, and how ask them what you can do differently. And he taught me that. I mean, my dad's a great guy. He's my biggest fan, and I love him dearly. Um, but he also taught me to have a little thicker skin,
Mhm.
and and it served me well later, when I had a boss at the company that had no clue of what I did, none, no understanding of it, no clue of it, and didn't value it.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's time to jump companies again. But somebody in another department said, oh, no, no, you come here. You come with me. We need you. I'm like, okay. So it was, and then the writing, getting the bad reviews, they sting in the beginning.
oh yeah,
And
they do.
you can't curl up in a ball and cry and stay there.
No.
You notice I always said, and stay there.
Now that all said, folks, if you do have to cut up into a ball and cry for a few minutes, it's okay. That is
Yes.
totally fine. It's
And then
understandable.
get up and understand that not everybody's opinion is going to be the same. And you're
No,
not going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time, ever.
that's important.
Ever.
That's important. Although
Yes.
it's funny because now what I do, like I said
Unless you're
again,
Betty White.
well, even Betty White pisses people off, right?
I know.
It's just one of those things where
Sorry.
it's all good, it's all good.
Yes.
But you got to remember. But the thing is, here's the thing about Betty. Betty survived the test of time, right? Because in the
Yes.
sense that she did all the stuff that pissed people off in the 50s, 60s, and
Mm-hmm.
70s. By the time we
Mm-hmm.
got to the 80s, right?
Yep.
She played Clueless, like
Yes.
on there on Golden Girls, which is still one of the best comedies of all time. Ironically enough, it's
Yes.
still one of the best ones of all time.
Yes.
And then she had things she was known for. Speaking of like public television, that was her bread and butter for years.
Mm-hmm.
So she like Betty White and people like Betty White and Bob Barker. That's another good example. Someone's been on TV for that long, right? Doing what overall we remember
Mm-hmm.
in a positive light,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Right? It tends to break even the best people. It's like it comes to a point where it's like, okay, if Bob Barker was on television, it's like I couldn't hate it. It was just I just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. I was brainwashed that much. It's like if he's been on TV that long, I just can't hate
Mm-hmm.
it, right? Even though I don't necessarily like again, and same Betty White. It's like she's been on TV so long, nobody hates it because it's just
Mm-hmm.
like here you are,
Yeah.
right? But that doesn't mean they didn't piss people off. I'm sure they did. Hell,
Oh, I'm sure
so,
she did.
oh, I imagine at that stage in her life, she just didn't care at all. I mean, I've seen William Shatner at cons. He doesn't care. Right. I've seen him.
Mhm.
I've seen like anyone that's at that age just does not. But the thing is,
Yeah.
it's that irredeemably true part of themselves. I think that's endearing, and maybe that's what life is really all about: is cut the bullshit. What we think of ourselves, and
Mhm.
whatever's left, that's who we are.
Yeah,
So
well, William Shatner reminds me of my dad, or vice versa. I don't know, because he's just like this kind of.
well,
Well, I mean, give it to my dad when I was a teenager, and he had taken me. I don't know if he took me, but he let me go see Animal House.
okay,
He saw it too.
okay,
He did Jim Belushi through the parking lot. You know, like Jim Belushi going up the stairs and then through the parking lot with his teenage daughter. You know what that does to a teenage daughter? A teenage girl, and he didn't stop. And the more I said, "Oh, Dad, please," the more he did it. So
because
this
because
is the
be-
man I
because
grew up with, okay?
but because your dad was like, you made me watch that. I'm
He's
making.
he's 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 a child at heart and always has been.
Oh sure, no,
So,
there's no other way to be in it. Honestly, there's really no other way to be in this life. Like
right.
we live, like seriously, sit there and think about it. The world's absurd. Like
Hmm.
it's an absurd place. You might as well you might as well have fun because honestly, shit make no sense. Right?
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly. Have
Yeah.
fun. You know, be kind. Those are the two things. Have fun and be kind most of the time.
True. No. So I have a caveat with to be kind. Be kind, right? Unless someone's being an asshole to you, then at that point, you know, eh, right? Don't openly be the asshole.
Right.
That's what I've learned,
Walk
right?
away. If they're being an asshole, just say, I don't know where you've been or what you're going through, but
It
not in
depends.
my space. Not in
What
my space.
see it so for me, like I kind of get to a point like where what I've noticed what I've been cutting out of my life is anyone that kind of feels like, wait, you're trying to take advantage of something here.
Hmm.
I had a guest, pretty well known in his field.
Hmm.
First time he came in was kind of like a last minute thing, couldn't make it at the end, which I totally
Yep.
understood. Second time though was I confirmed everything and he still no shit, and it
Hmm.
just was like, and I was like, okay. At that point, I completely changed gears with him. It's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if you show up or not. It's like he goes when he did what he did was like he's like, okay, when can you do it? It's like, well, I got him available in September sometime. Just give me a shout for now, right? And if I hear
Hmm.
from him, great. If I don't, also
Hmm.
what I've learned is I've learned how to deal with people at how they value me. If they decide that I'm worth time, I'll
Hmm.
treat them accordingly. I'm never going to like misabuse that, or I'm going to do my best not to misabuse that, right? But if they
Yeah.
don't, but if they don't, I respond in kind. Like I've learned how to do that now, where it's like, you know what, all right, we'll do it. And it's not even I think what it is be kind, but also protect yourself.
Hmm.
That's what I think it is. Be kind, but if you can walk away, it's probably the best, right? It is probably the best. But
Yes.
if you can't, right,
You have to
then
have boundaries too.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that I totally agree with the boundaries.
yeah,
But your initial instinct should always be kind.
yeah. Try I do
Yes.
my best. I don't always get an A. I'm not gonna lie. I don't always get an A, but I do my best. I do my best.
I don't think we all get it. I think we're all like that though.
So I remember this was talking about old comedies. There's an episode of Cheers where like Carla's talking about this teacher that tormented her, and her teacher just comes
Mhm.
into the bar, right? And she's like, I passed, right? And then you see the other like half of her head, like you go to the teacher, she was going to shave the teacher. teacher comes out, see one side of it, it's like fully there. Go to the other side, you see like half her head is bald. She goes, I said I passed, Sammy. I didn't get an A. I didn't say I got an A. I just said I passed. And I was like, fair enough. It was well done,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
It's well again, it's understanding. It's understanding. Like none of us, again, none of us get it all right. It's
Right.
just um, I'm not. You know what? I'm going to be 90 doing stupid shit. I just know it. At that point, maybe just because I'm bored, but still, I'm going to be doing stupid. It's like, why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Because it's fun,
Mhm.
right? And it's like, will you ever learn? Probably not. It's okay. Like that's
Yeah.
I just think I think that's the best thing about us too is we become more at peace with who we are and our flaws because our flaws are what make us too. Like the best parts of us are is there.
Mhm.
So
True. True.
yeah, yeah. It's why your voice. It's part of the reason why our voices are so unique in our stories. Again, it's not the
Yeah.
same story told. It's our voices that tell it that make those stories as engaging as they are, right? And you know, some of that's from our flaws, right? Some of
Mhm.
it, some of it.
Mhm.
She's like, yes, kind of, sort of. Shut up, move on. But it's like,
No, yeah. I mean, I, I mean, I've given my characters my flaws,
yeah,
my fears, all the things that, I know I'm a control freak. So, in some cases, my characters are control freaks. And it's fun to have two characters that are control freaks clashing.
well, it's hilarious because now
Mhm.
neither of them win. It's like it's basically like, what inevitably happens. The smarter one realizes I'm never going to get in control of the situation.
Well, you always had strong personalities will always have those clashing instances. 37 years married to two control freaks. Darren and I are just the same in that manner. But yeah.
Yes,
and
I see.
and we both want to win. So when we play games, sometimes it's fun, but most of the time it's not, especially if it's a game of luck like
See, you-
dice.
see, I
I
can
I'm
see
like
that.
I should be in a casino most of the time throwing dice, but but he just gets so frustrated. And like the other day, I was like, "Do you want to play that game?" He goes, "So I can lose again?" No. It's
See,
like me playing pool. Then you want to play pool so I can lose again? No. It's the
my
same
sister,
thing.
my sister's like that with me. I am. See, here's the thing. I don't necessarily need to win. I have to just be
Mhm,
able to play the game my way. That's it. That's all I
mhm.
really care about. The win or the loss doesn't matter to me, right?
We're
Right?
competitive.
What? I can, but no. But see, I was gonna say it's a fun story here. I can be competitive, but I can
Yeah.
also turn it off. Like it's like, do I really need to? Right?
Right.
Because do I need? I don't always have that need to win. Now sometimes I do. Sometimes if I'm motivated, no, I'm winning this game. That's just the way it's going to be. But generally speaking, in our case now, my sister is a competitor, like super competitive
Mhm,
person. So we'll play like cards. Cards are usually
mhm,
our thing. Now, Crip,
mhm.
she's great. I can't. I very rarely beat her at Crip. It's like once in a blue moon I beat her.
I I can't get cribbage. The math freaks me out. I just can't get it.
Yeah,
He's tried to teach me, and it's like no. So
my sister's great at that
anyway,
game.
yeah.
Right now, here's the thing. Rummy is another story. It usually
Mhm.
goes my way. Now she wins a little bit more there than I do at Crib, right?
Mhm.
But she doesn't. Usually I smoke her.
Mhm.
Usually, right?
Mhm.
So here's the thing, y'all. Sometimes see on my Facebook board, she'll show her scores when she does beat me, but she almost never shows a score, and that's because those scores mysteriously disappear or get destroyed, or
Mhm.
right. And it's hilarious to me because because this is just my perspective. As someone from the outside that doesn't actually need to win most of the time, right?
Mhm.
It's hilarious watching somebody plays to win and they don't win. It's
Mhm.
actually it's fun, and it's actually at that point it depends on two things. It depends how bent out of shape she gets. Sometimes I know she's had enough, and I'll change my style so it's a little bit at least more
Oh,
even in turn.
I'll never lose on purpose.
Oh, no, I don't. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
We
no.
we have a winter board at the beach,
Oh,
and it's
okay,
got cribbage, it's got golf, which is a card game, and I think there's spades, and it
okay,
has who's won how many, their names and their tallies, and it's my daughter, my husband, my son-in-law, my son, my father, and I said, well, should we put Farkle up there? That's the game that I'm like, apparently a hot roller in. And Dara goes, why? So we could put 10,000 to nothing? Like, yes.
so the luckiest.
That's my only name on the board. It has
So
no strategy. It's just rolling the dice.
oh,
Sort of.
but hey,
It does.
yeah. So in that case, yeah, you should be at the craps table, just cleaning it
Yeah.
up. It's cleaning everybody
I
up. You
know.
should be doing. No. So what I was gonna say is like, so I enjoy like rubbing it in when I know I'm playing against someone that must win. So the game I'm playtesting right now, the guy who
Mhm.
made the game, he's a competitor. He wants to win. Now he usually does win. I'm not gonna say he
Mhm.
usually doesn't, but when I do beat him, I rub it. I just go out of my way to rub it in. Vice versa, by the way, with anyone that really wants to win. Now, someone that doesn't care, it's a little bit different. Now you're just in some cases, like if I'm teaching a game, that's a very different attitude than like again, who I'm playing with is a very important thing. But for me, if I most of the time I don't care. But if I do beat somebody that needs to absolutely win, I
It's a
enjoy.
little sweet.
Oh
It's a
no, no,
little
no.
sweet.
Oh no, no, no. I'm that guy that's gonna just I'm gonna poke the bear at that point. It's just because I know. So I know
I
I
I
gotcha.
I did feel so sorry the last time we played Farkle because I'm just like rolling. I didn't I didn't roll out at all during that game at all, and he was farkling left and right. And he's like, "Why don't you get your Farkle?" And I rolled 4 of a kind. I'm like, well, karma.
It's one of those things, right? You just can't. Like the luckiest card player I ever played against was so one of my best friends when we played Magic. Magic, since we were competitive, like we were really competitive, right? And it's hard. I think one of the hardest things to acknowledge is when someone's a better player than you. He was a better player than I was,
Mhm,
but the thing about him was he was also very lucky, right? So he had that
mhm,
combination that he was very skilled and very lucky. So it was infuriating. Sometimes some games I would completely outplay him, and he would still draw exactly what he needed to win the game.
mhm,
Just the way it was. Um, but the luckiest person I've ever played against in cards is my mom, my mother.
mhm.
She would if every 3 games, she'd come out within 2 turns. Every
Oh,
three
wow.
games, every three. Doesn't
Yep.
matter. Like didn't matter how you did it. Like she just had it in her that little streak of luck would just
Mhm,
come down. I have a bit of that, not to her
mhm.
degree, but I have a bit of that. Um, it's just like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? But it's also with
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. You know when it's there though, and you
Yeah.
know when it's not.
Yes.
And I've done some funky things at the casino when I felt lucky, and I
Yes.
have gotten really lucky. and then I'm like, oh, I don't feel this, and I walked away, and it was a good thing.
No, it's the smartest thing you can do.
Mhm.
So
It's
last
like
time I was in a,
my pockets are filled. I must walk away.
I remember. So we last time I was in a casino was
Mhm.
before the pandemic actually,
Mhm.
and within 2 minutes of doing this machine, I had won $200.
Hmm.
I was out.
I don't
I
do
was,
slots. Oh no.
I generally don't. My game of choice at the casino is poker. All right,
The Caribbean poker or
hold 'em. Usually hold 'em.
hold up. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
usually hold 'em. Here's the problem with me. I'm good enough to get a lead, and then I get too aggressive and I lose. Usually, that's how
Hmm.
my poker. That's how my poker night goes.
Hmm.
But even so, how do I right? So that's where I'm coming. That day, my mother comes. She gave me $20. So here's $20. Go play a slot. Put $20 in. I come out with like 200 in
Hmm.
like 5 minutes. And
Yep.
I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to play anything else. I'm done.
Right.
I
Exactly.
no.
I'm done. That's a good a good
Well, so
return for my money
she,
and time.
so she looked at me. She's like, at least play a couple more rounds. So I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. This is what I'll do. I'll play two more. So right now I lost. It was like $20 and $20. I was out.
Yep.
But I was done at that. So he's gonna go up. No, so nope, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good. I lost it an hour on both times on the slot. I didn't win, but I played a
Yeah.
very long time. I'm good
Yeah.
enough. That's all I need to do. It's all good to me,
Hmm.
right?
I do like craps. We learned when my husband and I went to Lake Tahoe. We went, we were in one of the casinos and we were standing, watching craps, and the guy next to us started explaining it all,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't let us leave because the rolls were going well as he was explaining everything. So we learned from him, and I do pretty well
I can
most
see
of
it.
the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when the luck of the Irish is with me, I do well.
See, you seem like it seems like your luck is just good enough that when it's good, it's really good, but it has its moments where it keeps you honest. So you don't rely on it to bail you out.
Hmm. Right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. We don't go very often, but when we go with a set amount of money to lose. That's the
yeah.
whole purpose. That's our night out. This is what we're going to do. And most of the time, I'll sit behind my husband, and when he wins, I'll take the winnings and put them in my pocket. And then when
Somehow,
it's gone, he's done.
so I guess I asked this, and honestly, I asked two questions. I'm gonna ask two questions. One about your husband.
Okay,
So is he in charge of anything?
the yard.
See, that was what I figured that the answer was going to be. It was just like, what is he in charge of? So if I
The
ever do
yard.
happen to meet, if I ever do happen to meet him, a man in his yard. Okay, that's what I'll say
Yes.
to him.
Amanda has his toys because he's got major toys up here.
Well, yeah. I mean,
He's
I
got
mean,
he's got the the tractor. He's got this automatic wheelbarrow that goes up and down the hill that he can pile crap.
see,
He
like
has
I
his
said,
toys.
he has his toys.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's fine. Like you got your toys too, I am sure, right? So it kind of balances out.
Yeah. Yeah. The television. Yeah. The computer. But
Computer, like again, you guys each have your things to play with, and that's cool. But it's like I just had this thought and it's like
so that
the
was
two
question one. What was question two?
you kind of answered question.
Okay.
You got to answer question two, because it's like I was like, because I had this picture in my head now of like, okay, wait a minute, she's talking like two control freaks, and so okay. Here's the other thing. Yeah, I guess you make him strong for the rest of the world. That's the way I look at it because
No, he's no, he's got he's strong as well, and we do
oh
butt
no,
heads
total
all
no
the
no
time.
no no no
But I
absolutely
do
no.
I do concede a lot more than you would think because I like the peace.
Yeah, I'm sure you say
I
the same
I
thing.
am a peacekeeper. Okay, I've always been a peacekeeper. Not the bulldog fighter like my daughter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I could see why she had to be a fighter though. Just based on
Yes.
how you two sound like, it just like she had to. She had to just stand up for herself, or it never would happen, right? And then she realized
Mhm.
like, if I'm not willing to take on the world, then it
Mhm.
works out. So I mean, it works out for her. It works out for you guys. You guys are just totally a chill. So
Yes.
that's it, right? Well, you two are chill at least. That sounds like your daughter. I might be more scared. Have to be more scared of her than you, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, maybe 90 pounds, and she's like a freight train. A 90
So,
pound freight train.
so my first metal concert and like ever like happened.
Hmm.
The hardest person to hit me was probably someone like your daughter. Actually, she hit me harder than there's 300-pound guys in there. Okay, and we're hitting each other. We're not again. It's friendly. All of a sudden, I
Yes.
feel this boom behind my back. I'm looking like this woman is like maybe 190 to 120 pounds, soaking wet, is doing jumping body checks into everybody. I'm like, you. It's like, oh.
Yeah, Vicky couldn't do that anymore because of her back, but
Sonny tells me once upon a time that would have been her.
probably,
Yes.
probably, or she would have pirouetted around you because she was a
Yes.
dancer.
Sounds
Uh,
awesome. So
anyway,
you got let's get to the fun stuff. So you got books and books.
I got books. This was June. Oops. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is
Trained professionals, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are.
yes, yes. So this was July. This was June. And then, of course, you have the first book, and they all look so beautiful together. And
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I've said this to you off the air. I'll say this to J.E. Taylor is a fantastic author, ladies and gentlemen. You should definitely check out her work. You actually do blush a little bit when there's someone actually.
yes, I
Yeah.
do. I
It's
do.
awesome.
I get all flustered when people.
So what? You're good, but I
Say
mean,
sweet things.
you seriously work at this, right? Like this is something
Yes.
you work at. You're proud of. You do great work, and like I said, it's funny. The people we both know, and how something like I said, that Gerald Brand story is unbelievable to me, right? And I'm sorry, it's like wow, it's a small world. It really, really is. So I
Yeah.
say that, but no, you're great, and this is your latest series. So, like we were talking about this a little bit. You do 4 books a year as general thumb.
Yes.
So you do a series a year. Then I should ask. It's like that generally
Pretty
like
much. Yeah.
yeah.
A series a year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The trilogy, and then I start another series, and then or I have a standalone, or I do a bunch of short stories. This year I've done those three. No, I did,
You got another Wicked Heart one coming out in October.
which is Tainted Mind, which is the end of the trilogy because Young Blood was an afterthought. Young Blood was I had to write Robbie's story,
Mm-hmm.
his story, so it's like ooh, and it just bloomed, and that came out pretty quickly. So actually 4 books this year, and then I'll have one for December.
Oh, so are you doing
So
another
it'll be
Christmas?
5 books and 4 short stories this year. Holy shit! Yes.
Well, so far this year I have 2 shorts out. Right before they came on the air,
Hmm.
I just saw that one of the backers for the Kickstarter I was part of
Hmm.
got a copy of my first short story, which was about a gloriously glittered dragon that got altered by art. He just decided not to like that very much, and so he became a brand new magic card. Right? It was a very meta concept, because there's a lot of artists that alter magic cards, right?
Hmm.
But what if the magic card didn't like being altered the way it was? So how it would react? I thought you'd like a fun little story, right? Fun little story, right? I have another one. I have my first comic script. I might see it at the end of this year, for sure, early next year.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, so I got that. I actually realized that I have another comic book that's practically ready to come out. I could do that before the year's up. I might wait till like I might be my first release next year, and
Mhm.
then I'm doing So I'm gonna say 2 point anywhere from 2.5 to 4 books, depending on how you look at it. That's gonna be
Mhm.
next year's my first 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. That just yeah. Five novels and three three novellas. Let's call them novellas, and one short story this year. That's like holy crap! I didn't realize that until right now.
So we were
Because
talking.
I never planned on writing Youngblood. I
Yeah.
never planned on writing that. It just
So I guess I'm going to ask this because I mean we teased this a little bit because I'm looking at, for example, I'm reading your Dragon series right now.
yes.
There's a lot more room in that than 3 books, right? There is, and I'm sure if I look at some of your other series, I'm sure I could say that like there's more room in these places. So, do you want to try something more complex down the road? Is that something like you've always kind of wanted to do? Are you happy with 3, or do you just get bored and move on to the next world?
Probably the latter. I mean, well, I can't say that because the Steve Williams series was 6 books.
Mhm.
The Ryan Chronicles were 6 books, and they have the crossover of the characters back and back. And then I went down to 3. So because 3, yes, I have openings that I can go back and pick it up in the Dragon series. I'll put it that way. And
Yeah.
my mother-in-law is like, "You left it open. You can do more." She's so funny. She's like, "When are you gonna do that?" I'm like, "Well, it's not on the task list yet." Um, you know, it depends. Three is usually for me the right amount to decide whether or not I want to spin it into something else.
Yes. And what? Okay, I should ask this. What is the requirement to go from 3 to 6 or 6 to whatever? Is
Or
it?
3 to 4 or what like
Yeah.
this case. Um I have to have more ideas. The character has to be nagging the shit out of me. I'll
Okay.
put it that way.
Okay.
Ty Eris nagged the shit out of me from day one, from writing that first book. Ty Ryan, Chris Ryan, whatever, anybody who's read that stuff. He nagged me for years. And I finally wrote the last one. And yes, there is something open there because
You had a lot of
he's
fun.
been killed many times. I'll put it that way.
So it's funny because like one of the series I'm going to go back to next year when I get back to writing it next year.
Yeah.
I have has a zombie mobster. He
Hmm.
never dies. I actually have a little now. He goes into an offshoot. There's an offshoot with the series. So I
Hmm.
mentioned. So the villain in the first episode was the first novel. He had a daughter. I'm like, okay, so Chester now has to look after her, and the mob kind of so she's going to try to take over the mob. It's like this seems like a hilarious little like I don't know if it's a young adult story
Hmm.
exactly, but I could do it. It's like a spin-off. So it's in the
Hmm.
back of my head. It's in the back of my head. Like I don't know if I get to it next year, but I'm probably going to get to it probably sometime in the next 2 years, right? Hey, buddy. And this is my esteemed and wonderful publisher, Mr. John Westhoff, who actually published my story. So thanks, John. Hey, I hope you saw. Hey, John, if you are still there, I hope you saw the fact that at least one of my friends got the books already. So very kudos. It's cool to see that the rewards are going out. So congratulations once again, and thank you for having me be a part of it. So saying all that. Um, it's one of those situations where it's just like I just go, I can see a full story. So that's the is that the requirements? Like yeah,
pretty
full.
pretty much. Or they are telling me that the story is not over. Like the characters from the series I wrote with Billy, Fate and Death. they wouldn't. I'm like, there's more to their story, but it took me a few years to get, to figure out where to go with it.
Hmm.
And when Katie and I started writing, I'm like, we've got to have these guys in this book. We've got to at least have Fate,
Hmm.
because Fate will um, impact Phoebe's life as a demon that came to the earth. That has to be impacted by Fate. So it was nice to bring them back. And then I went further
Okay.
after that. I
Okay.
went further because they're in Death Chronicles too.
Okay. No, the reason I'm asking that because I mean, going full circle and talking about like when you mentioned retirement and you writing more books and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like, I mean, trilogies are sweet. I look at like Mercedes Lackey. That's been her bread and
Mhm.
butter for by and large,
Mhm.
right? With a
Mhm.
few exceptions for decades, and it works. Trilogies are great, but I mean, maybe I was wrong to assume this. The fact that you're going to have more time on your hands eventually means you have more time to try to make your stories go bigger, more
Or
complex.
weave the worlds together again.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
start with other worlds. And I think this series, the Shades of Night series, is going to weave into others. I already wove a little bit of my other werewolf single that I have out there. Some of that lore went into this too. So it was like, okay. So now I'm starting to see a whole world of possibilities.
Yes,
And I
werewolves.
love wolves. I love
Yes,
wolves. Period. Even before I started, reading werewolf, romance, I've loved wolves. I mean,
yes,
I got to see a wolf in person.
yes.
That was like the coolest thing. He came up to me, put his head in my lap, and we weren't supposed to pet him. And I'm like, I want to pet this thing.
Well, yeah, they can. They can be very sweet animals. I lived in a city called Whitby, Ontario, Canada, and
Yep.
there. So we were staying at a friend's house, like another family's house, and they had a
Hmm.
half Labrador, half wolf. They
Okay. Yeah.
are they are incredibly loyal animals to you once
Mhm.
they kind of do it.
Oh yes, they are
They're
very, very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're incredibly loyal. And the other thing about them too, though, they need to run. They
Hmm.
need to run. They have to
Yeah.
have space. Otherwise, they go slow. They slowly go stir crazy. They need it. Like they absolutely need it. But they're sweet.
Yeah.
They're
One of the charities, I guess, is the Wolf Conservation Center in New York. They actually brought the wolves to their ambassador wolf to the Connecticut Science Center. That's where I met the wolf.
ah
I mean, yeah, purebred wolf. So you'll see on my profile every now and then, something from them. The pictures and the videos that they have of the wolves, which I really got to get out there and actually see them there in New York in their thing and take pictures because that would be awesome.
hey, I mean that's an opportunity. So note to self: if folks want to see more of Jane's stuff in sequels and stuff like that, and beyond the three, try to bribe her with wolf stuff. So I'm sure that one might be able to get some more twisting of the arm a little bit easier. And to Jane's mother-in-law who's listening to this, so what you need to do is you need to come up with like a dragon werewolf idea, and you might be able to talk her, and
Well, I do have Mick's origin story that I've got to
yeah,
write.
yeah.
Okay. So
Okay,
yeah, that again, a trilogy. I have the covers, I have the concepts, so I've just got to write it. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So your mother, so it's like, and then you give this to your mother. Okay, here you go. Shh, leave me be for a little while.
yep.
Okay, I did it. Please leave me alone.
But she wants Mick, and going forward, she wants to see what happens next. Not what happened, eons ago. so, so yes. and,
Okay, well,
and I know we're over time, but I'm having fun.
no, it's all good. Hey, listen, this is the thing, right? Um, No, I say it like this, right? So here we are, right?
Mhm.
This time we have gone over an hour.
Mhm.
We're still here,
Yes.
right? To anyone just catching up, so this is what's going to happen to the last time she came on the show. So
There's a lot of fodder in there for you.
yes, there is. Yes, there is. So my computer decided to crash me out of my own stream 20 minutes into about 20 minutes in, give or take.
Mhm.
And Jane did the next 35 on her own. So what's going to probably happen there is when I get to my Christmas season, right? I might do. So if I really like you, I will send you some Christmas cards of some of those highlights right then and there. Because I think that'd be fantastic. She's actually blushing a little bit again.
Yes,
That's
I'm
hilarious.
turning bright red because I know there's just so much in there that you can just have a freaking ball with.
It's true. But here, I'll make you this. I will make you this promise. It'll be. I will make sure before I send the Christmas cards out to people, you get a look at. I'm not going to put you in a situation where you feel very awkward,
That's
right?
okay.
Okay.
I I I I stayed on for 35 minutes. It's all fair game.
Okay.
It's all fair game, Josh.
Okay. So I just so Katie Salidas, Joe Compton, possibly Jay Lavelle, a few other people. If I like you, you'll get them, right?
Mhm.
It just says you'll just get them. I probably would send it to Gerald because I think that'd be hilarious,
Yeah,
right?
'cause I'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, he was like, "What the hell?" It's like, "Hey, man, come on my show. Things happen, right?"
Yeah.
So, right, including that, and I will definitely. And one of the clips I will show for sure is me disappearing from the screen.
Yes. And then
Because
you
that's
know, where'd you go?
hey, at least I texted you on the phone. Although
Yes.
now
True.
at least I texted you to let you know what was going on. But that would be hilarious, actually, if I set it up in such a way. Who like the only problem is here's the problem. See anybody else would just would have laughed. Like you're one of like only like three people I know that I could do it to Joe. I could actually do it to Joe. Right? I could do it to Joe. I could. Oh, if Joe, if you listen to this, yes,
That's that's
I
the
know.
practical joke side.
Yes, it is. It totally is. I have that in me to do it.
Yes.
Right? I totally have that in me. I do have a bit of a merry prankster. But all that to be said, I think we have a decent interview, all things considered, talking about being comfortable in one's own skin seemed to be the theme in this one. So,
Yes.
yes, which considering your current trilogy, I think is a very apropos, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's very apropos. Because I mean, that's the big thing about what it's really about is them coming to terms with their true nature. It's about what and their feelings for each other, but
Yeah.
also, like themselves. Just
Embracing
like,
who they are. Yeah.
yeah,
Accepting the
with
acceptance of the darkness
well, yeah,
and the light.
well, both. Like,
Yeah.
like, like, like. Again, I hit just for me. This was about 10 years ago. I came to terms with 15 years ago. I came to terms with most of my demons. About 5 years ago, I came to terms with most of the rest of them. I'm sure I got
Mm.
one or two still in there here and there because they never completely go away. But it's great when you learn to control your darkness because once you learn
Yeah.
how to do that, you become fully, I think, flushed out, right?
Pretty
So
much. Yes.
yeah, so and that's important. And I hope everybody. I'm not saying embrace your dark side, like going to the dark side of the force, like Vader says, or like, hey, acknowledge those things are inside you, and then
Hmm.
find constructive ways to let them out. Most
Yes.
of it,
Exactly.
yes, yeah, right. Once you let them, because then you are in control, all right, and that is the true measure of strength. And I think that's a good place to wrap this up.
I
So,
think so.
I guess. So, do you want to promote your book coming up, or do you want to book your book
Yes.
now?
Let's promote. Well, I've got two releases
Okay.
on October 4th. I've got
Okay.
Tainted Mind, which is the third book in the Shades of of Night series. I almost said Shades of Grey. Ah, sorry. And then the second one is Jasmine, which is a fractured fairy tale, and it's coming out in Rituals and Ruins set, which is like 30 stories for right now for 99 cents, but it will go up after release week. So
Nice. So go check it.
check
Go
it
check it
out.
out.
Yes.
And this, and I know this already, is your website.
Yes,
Haha.
it is.
And,
Absolutely.
and definitely go check that out, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, check out any of her books. I like her dragon stuff because it sounds really cool.
It's dragons.
Yes,
Come on.
but there is literally something there for anybody there. Like I said, there's some great standalones like Silence and Silent Night.
Hmm.
There's some, like I said, we talked about her Fate series. We talked about like she's got trilogies for all, and there is something there for you. I promise. And there are very few writers with it as that will engross you in a page as much as Jada Taylor does. So
Thank you.
definitely check her out. And she's
Thank
blushing
you
again.
for having me.
Yes. And she's blushing again. And for everybody watching, give me a second here. Um, by the way, I'm particularly proud of the video I released with Tim. I just for anything else like the title, almost a professional, just sounds really really cool. For those of you that definitely like the video stuff here, I do videos for projects and yourselves. You can definitely check out my advertising services here if you are interested in doing so. Right, whether it's your book or yourselves, I will do a wonderful job. You can actually ask Jane herself; she's actually used that service.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
you can
I
definitely
endorse Josh's
yes,
services. He's great.
yes, definitely check that out. And I got that. This was the end of a doubleheader Monday. I have a doubleheader tomorrow as well. I discovered a little late before the newsletter that I'm actually Lucy Leitner is going to be my first guest. Then I got Ash, Oak, and Thorn, a metal band, tomorrow night as well. So it's going to be a wild, wild afternoon on Tuesday. So for everybody watching and everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. That's